We got some good questions, so we're going to jump into those. I always have to say the views and opinions of Randy Pratt do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Kristen Pratt, my children, my grandchildren now, or New Leaf Publishing Group or any of its representatives. So, okay, let's see. Christy says, question is both parenting and homeschool related. 13-year-old son who is disrupting our homeschool constantly each day. Pushes back or argues with everything I ask him to do. He rushes through all his work and does little as possible. He's very smart, pesters his siblings during school time. He's not only hindering their education, but also his siblings. I am so tired and at my wit's end. Any advice on how to deal with a child like this? I would start with this. I would start with a prayer. Lord, I thank you for giving me this child. This child has amazing abilities. I pray that you would give me wisdom to help shape the strength, the creativity, the leadership abilities of this child so that he is fitted for the work that you've called him to accomplish. There was I wish I knew the story. There was a story of somebody that I had recently come across, and he was a troublemaker, and he ended up in a class, and the teacher basically, he was just causing trouble, and the teacher said something to the effect of, you are an amazing person, you're an amazing student, but you're going to need help learning how to control what you have. And so, Chrissy, I think you can look at this as this kid has problems, or you can look at it as raw material. And he's creative, he's funny, he's thinking, he's beginning to stretch a little bit, right? And there may be some areas where you have to find discipline, but I would also begin to look at teaching him. Let's say his name is Mark. I don't know what his name is, so I'm going to say Mark. But you say, Mark, you are an amazing young man. Let me tell you about Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls has amazing power. Millions of gallons flow over Niagara Falls. I don't know how many gallons, whether it's a day or, it's just amazing. The thing about it is that they divert a majority of water from Niagara Falls through the Niagara grid, the power dam system, Niagara Mohawk, and create energy from that water. If they didn't do that, the flow of water coming from Lake Erie into Lake Ontario through the Niagara Falls would just erode the falls and completely destroy everything that's there. By doing that, they're able to actually take this amazing energy and power and turn it into enough light, or just the correct amount so that you can power a light bulb from it. So you take all this energy and all this power and all this force, and you govern it into a place where you can focus it so that it's useful energy. So right now, Mark, you have a lot of energy, a lot of creativity. You got a lot of energy, just like all that water coming through. Okay? But if we can find ways for you to channel this energy and to learn how to control that energy, imagine what could be accomplished. Rather than being destructive, rather than being the class clown type thing, perhaps we can channel this energy and creativity and power into something that is like Niagara Falls. The amount of energy that's created because of this helps us be creative. Michelle's talking about the energy I use a lot of times too. It's like a lightning bolt. A lightning bolt is massive amounts of energy, but it's destructive. It's not productive. Constructive energy, if I could take that energy and I can find a way to make it constructive, imagine what I could accomplish. And so for Mark, if Mark can just figure out, and I can work with him, I can help begin to say, Mark, let's find ways to channel your creativity and to to help teach the class or whatever. There's so many things we could go into about parameters to help Mark behave better. But I think it almost has to be somewhat Mark's idea, right? That Mark gets it, that God has made you amazing, Mark. He created you to be an incredible ambassador for him. I can see it in you. I see it. And if we can find ways to begin disciplining and training ourselves, think about athletes, right? There's muscle memory. How many times does a quarterback have to throw a football to be that accurate? And so this is what we're doing. It's like we're training ourselves. It's the muscle memory in the mind that we're training ourselves to control ourselves, to have emotional intelligence, to have social intelligence, and using that to mature. It's called maturity, and to grow. This is called growth into adulthood, into a way that is productive, but not just productive, but is world changing. You have all this energy, and if you don't control it, it'll be destructive. It'll be wasted. Just like the water going over Niagara Falls would be wasted if they didn't divert it in a way that they could govern it and control it to a way that made it productive. Is that helpful? I think sometimes it's frustrating because it takes a lot of work to create a system that would capture that much water and turn it into energy, put it through an entire system that would power and put it out there. Our kids are inconvenient. They don't fit into boxes, but we signed up for this. When we have kids, we sign up for saying, I'm going to take the responsibility of discipling my children. No matter how much energy it takes, this is my priority right now. Excuse me. And so I think that's something that we have to make a priority and say, this is important. Not just that they fit into my system, but that I recognize this. So let me tell you, okay, so recently in the last few years, I was mailed an envelope that had all of my report cards from school. And it's interesting because on the back of it, they had all of these compliance things like does well in class, is courteous, knows his place, all of these things. All of the things that I got needs improvement on. And they would say, Randy enjoys being the center of attention. Randy enjoys, being social. Randy enjoys all of these things. Well, newsflash to every teacher that wrote those needs improvement, those are the strengths that have helped me in life. The fact that I don't mind stepping onto a platform and speaking, or the fact that I don't mind when I'm the center of attention, or the fact that I enjoy socializing with people and connecting with people, the fact that I can be funny and creative and those type of things have served me well. And so while you did your best to make sure that I would be disciplined for all of those things that actually made me successful in life, appreciate that. You were actually just making it so that you could manage me better in the classroom, but you weren't actually investing in me as a person that I could have done better. So that's where I say, thank the Lord for this child who is a challenge, because the Lord has given you a world changer. But you're going to need wisdom. And Scripture says, anyone of you lacks wisdom, let him ask for wisdom, he'll receive wisdom. Excuse me, let me make a sip. And so it's important that we ask the Lord to give us wisdom, and then we begin navigating this more as this is potential and beautiful. So, okay, Minnie says, feel like I lose my kids on homeschooling. Sometimes feel like they don't take me seriously because I'm just a mom. How can I be more interactive, make things fun or interesting to them, be engaged? Does it make sense? How do I know I'm doing enough? I think it don't really matter what my kids think. Yeah, I'm just a dad, and they're foolish little creatures, like we know that from Scripture. So if they don't think that I am all that, and they'll learn it when they get older and they have to become a dad. That's basically what I had to say about it. I don't need my kids' approval in order to feel successful. What I need to do is lead, and so I need to know what matters, what my objectives are, what our mission is. Same with Kristen. Now, if they're not taking her seriously, which I don't think is also an issue that Kristen has ever had. We've had kids that work better with me. And if you've ever heard my story of kids being expelled from our school, that has happened on occasions. And then I became their educator. And my motive, my idea was, if it got so bad that it gets to me, we'll both suffer. And so that's kind of how we did it. But I think these seasons are just part of growing and maturing, right? I am a coach. I am a coach, and I reserve the right to command. I know what's important for our family. At least I thought I did, and begin to educate from that place. So as far as having fun, and I mean, I want education to be fun, and I want to think outside the box and all of that. But I think you also have to get a little bit of confidence that says, I'm here. Like, there's no imposter syndrome when it comes to being a parent. You are a parent. You are a mom, right? And they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the sacrifice that you've already taken. And then having them as a baby, and having to teach them how to walk, and having to potty train, and all of that. I would kind of question your own thinking to make it where it's more like your confidence, like you communicate confidence to them. Yeah, you want to have the confidence that like you get what you lead, right? And so you want to lead from a position of, I am good at this. I am a good mom. I got you to this spot. So you should be thankful for that, because without me, you wouldn't be here. And then as far as, the homeschooling and the education goes, we can make this fun. But we think of yourself not as their entertainer. Don't think of yourself as any of these things. Just think of yourself as kind of, how do you coach and bring out the best in them and train them? You're a trainer, you're a coach, and commander at times. Hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully it makes sense.